Good morning, good morning. It's Friday morning, 10 o'clock, and you know what time it is? It is a Rapid Fire Friday. So welcome everyone. It's good to be back with another episode of Rapid Fire Friday. So if this is your first episode, I want to welcome you and I thank you for your time. So I do appreciate that. So welcome to all of the members in the community and those that are watching the replay. I really do appreciate your time. So my name is Annette Conrad. Just in case you're not familiar with me, I'm your admin in the cookie decorating group, Cookie Decorating Hobby to Business 101. And every Friday I come on live where I share 5 questions, wonderments, or scenarios from the last week that I find interesting and hope that you find interesting. So I try to keep it to about maybe 10 minutes, but sometimes I get overly passionate about some of these topics, so I might go a little longer. If you need to hop off, no problem. You can always come back and catch the replays. So last week we talked a bit about how to turn notifications on. So if you're not sure how to get alerted when I go live, go ahead and look at last week's Rapid Fire Friday. I do talk through that just a bit. So but welcome. And we are really close to reaching 4,000 members. But for those of you that do know me, it's all about quality, not quantity, but it is exciting to see the community grow because the more people we have, I just think the more ideas, suggestions, advice that we can all share with each other. So I'm really excited to see this community grow. So it's really for anyone who has a love and passion for cookie decorating, or certainly if you have a side gig, does not have to be cookie decorating. So there's lots of practical advice and information. And I love to share my 24 years of event planning experience, 17 years of managing a nationwide profitable business. And I'm just really, thankful and grateful that I've had an incredible journey, and I'm here to share with you how you can transform that hobby to a business. So, all right, I don't want to go too much more on that, but I wanted just to see if we could get a few folks on live. And good morning to Margie and Edna. Thank you so much. You both have been very engaging in the group, so I do appreciate that. All right, let's get on. So after each one, I'm going to ring the bell and we'll move on to the next scenario. So the first one is, I forgot to order scribes and my class is tomorrow. Any tips or advice would be appreciated. I'm trying not to freak out. Okay, so first of all, don't stress, okay? Your class is tomorrow, so I'm sure you've made preparations and you're probably ready to go. But yes, sometimes it's the fine-tune items where you realize that you may have forgotten something. So now here's my perspective on this. Unless you have made a promise, okay? And for those that don't know what a scribe is, you might be very, very new to the craft, but a scribe is basically a needlepoint type looking tool that will help you move frosting around or maybe pop air bubbles. It's used for making textures. It's really helpful. It's a toothpick, or it is can be decorative. So when people refer to a scribe, it's most likely they're referring to something quite decorative. Some people make their own, they put beads on them, and they're really super cute, and they do add a lot to the presentation. But my point is, unless she has guaranteed or charged or made it part of her offering, I would not worry about trying to find a scribe for that class. Toothpicks are a household item, and they even sometimes come in colorful toothpicks too. So, but what I found fascinating about this is that every single person, I mean literally every single person, responded very quick about who, what, where, when, why, where, and she can buy these and how much she'd have to pay for shipping, and she should drive out to the store. And I'm kind of a disruptor. I like to think of myself as a little disruptor when I see these comments and questions on these groups that I'm involved with. I try to look from more of a bird's eye view. So I understand what the question is and what the concern is, but there's always something bigger there, I see. So again, if you're worried about the presentation, that toothpicks aren't all that exciting, there are things that you can do. Certainly you could put a little ribbon on them. You could put them in a cute little bowl. You could do things to make them decorative, but I would not spend my time and I would not spend the gas knowing the event is the next day and going out searching for decorative scribes. Again, only if she did not promise them as part of the package, okay? Your time is precious. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. It's supposed to be Rapid Fire Friday. But again, I get very passionate about this stuff, especially in-person classes. And your time is precious. If that event is tomorrow, I would not be worrying about toothpicks. I would be worrying about how am I going to make that that experience the best experience possible. And really, I think it comes down to how are you welcoming your folks? How are you engaging with them while they're there in person? And how are you going to follow up with them? So I would spend my time on those things more than the little things that probably no one is going to notice. Okay, the last thing is, I'll say on this and we will move on, is there is a great group. So if you are interested in learning more about how to teach an in-person class, there's some great conversations going on in So You Want to Teach a Cookie Class. I shoot out several of these groups, but I'm not with the intention that you join every single group. So please don't do that. Be very careful about how many groups you join. I've said that before in a Rapid Fire Friday. And make sure it's something that is applicable to what you're doing and what you're offering your clients, because time is precious. Okay, moving on. That was a long one. Oh my gosh. I try so hard not to be wordy, but you know, it's event planner in me. Okay, so I'm going to talk really quickly. This past Wednesday was a fantastic decorating experience. I went through airbrushing with Sugar Prism products. One of the biggest questions that came up out of that, besides questions about the product, was the single action airbrush system versus a dual action. So if you are brand new to airbrushing, I really do recommend that you go back and watch that replay from Wednesday. I went through really the basics of airbrushing and I showed some really cool techniques too. And I have so much to show. So I know there will be an airbrushing 2 coming down the road, but the difference between a single and a dual action has to do with the trigger on the airbrush system. A single is what I've used for many, many years, and I've just switched over, which is surprising probably to hear, to a dual action. So really quick, a single action is you press down on that trigger and the paint will come out automatically. There's no airflow first, and it does tend to spatter. Sometimes some of the airbrush guns, even the nicer ones that are single action, that paint is constantly flowing even before you pull the trigger. So there are definitely pros and cons to that single trigger. The single one is typically a little bit less expensive, but you're going to get more spattering and you don't have as much control as you do with a double or dual action. With the dual, very quickly, is you push down on the trigger, air starts flowing first, and then you pull back, and then that's when the paint starts to flow. So really, really cool. Again, go watch that airbrushing masterclass on Wednesday. And then the discount code that I talk about for the Sugar Prism products are specifically for the 15-piece paintbrush set and the Pro Pack, which is 12 edible acrylic paints, Sugar Prism. So that discount code is available. It's Sweetly-23 only until tomorrow or Sunday the 22nd. So get yourself some product if you need it. All right. Here's a quick one. This is super, super quick, I promise you. This one is how to increase visibility in your business. Okay, you're probably like, seriously, that's gonna be a quick one? Honestly, it is gonna be quick because I'm gonna tell you 5 things. But I'm gonna challenge you to go watch the replay. March 30th, I did a masterclass on how to increase visibility in your business. Perfect if you're just starting out, like you've made that leap from hobby to business, or if you have a business, but you're struggling with a little bit about getting orders and getting clients. So number 1, create a website, okay? Not necessarily a full website. Create a place where people can come and communicate with you. It might just be a landing page. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged website, okay? Number 2, invest your time in networking. I'm gonna tell you right now, Edible Impressions has grown to the volume that it has grown from organic networking. We do not pay for ads. We will not pay for ads. We never had to, and we won't. To me, I love the personal connection. So networking. All right. Number 3, leverage your free resources. And you're doing that with this Facebook group. So congratulations. There are so many resources out there for you. So I would say exhaust those resources until you start investing in other resources, okay? This is really hard because I'm really not going in depth on any of these. Number 4, focus on client experiences and they will come. And frankly, this one should be at the top. I really should put this as number 1 because if you provide responsive, excellent service, your clients are gonna come. So listen to what they're saying, take care of them from start to finish, and you will have an incredible client base. Number 5 is rinse and repeat. Okay, so that may not make any sense to you. But again, I challenge you for it to all make sense is go watch the replay. March 30th is how to increase visibility in your business. And I'll tell you, most of the things I talk about will not cost you a dime. All right. Moving on to the next one. So good morning. Hello, Michelle. I'm so glad you're here live. Yes. So Michelle Ingalls, you see her in the feed right now commenting. She's actually the creator and owner of Sugar Prism Premium Art Products. So thank you so much. She did join in with the replay and answered a ton of questions and wonderments about the product. So she's also a group expert in the group. So if you have any questions about painting on cookies, oh my gosh, she's your gal, and she's extremely talented. So please join her group. It's called Painting with Sugar Prism. I am a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. And we've become friends now. So I just love it, love it. So hi, Michelle. I'm glad you're here this morning. So, all right. So the next one is I typically bake with extracts, but would like to try emulsions in my next batch. What do I keep the same measurements or reduce the amount of emulsion that I use? So a lot of folks, and I agree, I do a 1-to-1 ratio if you're going to be moving from extracts to emulsions, but I think it's important to understand what the difference is. So flavor extracts are made from a base of alcohol, okay? Your flavor emulsions are concentrated, and they are water soluble. I'm reading this because I want to make sure I say it correctly. Is water soluble flavorings in a base made up of mostly water. So there is a big difference between extracts and emulsions. Now, extracts do tend to lose their flavor a little bit during the baking process. So if you want a little bit stronger flavor, then emulsions might be the way to go. And I do have experience with that because I made a delicious lemon sugar cookie for a client, and I think it was actually a little bit too strong because it was a combo of cookies with chocolate, lemon, gingerbread, and sugar. And lesson learned, I should have sealed them a little bit tighter, even though they were individually heat sealed. Boy, that emulsion, that flavor really came through. I could taste the lemon in almost all the cookies. So be warned that the emulsions can be pretty concentrated. And the flavor bakes out because of the high temperatures. So, but emulsions are really good for when you make candy. So if you really, because sometimes the chocolate or the fondant is very, it's thicker in its base. And so you really need extra flavoring in there. Okay. So I could go on and on about the difference, but again, a 1-to-1 ratio is pretty will work for you. So, all right. So here is the 5th one. Oh my gosh, I know I'm past the 10 minutes, but that's okay. So I have been getting some amazing baking tips from folks. So as folks are joining the group, and thank you for those that have been sharing your best baking tips. I thought this would be really fun to bring on periodically a best baking tip. So if you have one right now, just one, okay, just give us one, because we want these to last all year long. Just put that right down in the feed. That would be really great. So one of the favorite ones that I saw this past week was patience is key. Don't rush to the finish line. I think that is a fantastic best baking tip that I think every baker should really, hold close to heart. And it's really for all aspects. So for one, in your decorating overall, you want to be patient. You don't want to rush it. You want to wait for, let's say, layers to dry before you move on to the next one, because it really does make a difference. Airbrushing, what we just did this last Wednesday, there's no rush. What I want you to do is slow down. It's slow and steady. Master the craft before you run to this finish line. So it's really going to work well for you. Don't stress. Be patient. You're on your own journey. So that's another aspect of using this wise information, this wise comment here. You're exactly where you should be. There's always going to be someone before you or ahead of you. Okay. The business is there. So I challenge you to strategize, organize, plan. The business is not going anywhere. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, be patient. Annette, come on. I mean, look at me. I talk a mile a minute. I have so many ideas and I have to consciously slow myself down. So you're probably thinking, well, how do I be patient when I'm super excited? I'm super passionate. There's so many things for me to learn. How do I do that? And really, I think it is slowing down. And for me, I read a book, and I talked about it once before, called Atomic Habits. It is a fantastic book. And it's such a simple strategy. I mean, the guy was brilliant that wrote the book. He said, if you want to tackle big goals, big dreams, big to-dos tackle them with atomic tasks. So right now I have this area in my bakery, and I need to clean it out. I need to gut that whole corner. I want to reorganize. And I was like, it's so daunting. I look at this corner, and my sister can attest to this. And it's just like, oh my gosh, there's just so much to do. And I'm not the kind of person that just wants to I have nowhere to go with a lot of the items. So I decided to make myself a little list of little tiny tasks, and eventually I will get there. So anyway, great advice. Again, the baking tip of the week is patience is key. Do not rush to the finish line. Okay. All right. I made it through 5. Thank you again for being here. This is amazing. I appreciate you all. And for those that are catching the replay, what's coming up? I just posted this morning. So again, watch that replay from Wednesday. Use that discount code Sweetly-23 to get your Pro Pack, 12 beautiful colors, and also the brushes if you would like. You can go to sugarprism.com, or you can go to AnnetteConrad.com. Either way, you will get to that link. And then upcoming, I'm super excited about this coming Wednesday. I love talking business. And this week we are talking about 10 indicators to know that it's time to hire your first employee. Okay? For those of you that's just starting out, I'm telling you, it is possible. It is possible for you to hire. And I'm not talking about someone 40 hours, 60 hours a week, 2 people, 80 hours a week. I'm talking about a small first hire that is going to give you back some of your time. Okay? And then that's going to be on January 25th. And then February 1st, back in September, I was going to do wet on wet decorating techniques with royal icing. I broke my heart, teardrop. I had to cancel. I forget what the reason was, but I'm bringing that one back to the top of the list. We're going to do wet on wet techniques with royal icing. So I cannot wait for that. And if you have a topic or suggestion, please don't be shy. You can private DM me or put that right in the feed. I read almost every comment. I try to keep up. The bigger the group gets, I might not be as responsive, but believe me, I will get there. So, because I really do appreciate you all, and we're having a good time. I hope you're enjoying the community, and do me a favor, just tell a friend, tell someone about it, or share it with another person. That would be great, or another group too. That would be really, really well appreciated. So that's all, folks. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week, Wednesday, or possibly for Spontaneous Live. Take care, everybody.